Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Sunday. Here with the fantasy football matchup preview video for week 4 here. So go ahead and like and subscribe. Support the channel. You guys have been awesome. And we're going to hop into it here. A lot of good action on the board today, so let's get into it. The first matchup is going to be the Carolina Panthers versus the Cowboys. On the Panthers side, should be a really good, fun game here. High over under at 51.5. I feel like you can start Sam Darnold as a streamer. He's been pretty solid this season. With no McCaffrey, Chuba Hubbard, going to be a nice probably RB2 / flex play here. You're hoping he gets involved in the passing game. Maybe can fall into the end zone. That would be ideal for Hubbard. Love DJ Moore. And, Robbie Anderson, you're hoping he has a breakthrough game here. This is a perfect matchup for him to have that game, with probably the focus going to be on DJ Moore. So I don't hate Robbie Anderson as a flex play, but he's been very disappointing and probably hurting your team if you've been playing him. But I think you just got to believe and just roll him out. Great matchup here. This is probably the matchup for him to have a nice bounce back. Then on the Cowboys side, I think you can feel safe starting everybody here. Love Dak, love Zeke. Maybe Pollard at a flex. Pollard's been getting a lot of work. Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. And then Schultz. Schultz has emerged as the number 1 tight end in this offense over Blake Jarwin. Love all those options. You hope Amari has a better week than he did last week. So I love all of those plays right there. In the next matchup, we have the Cleveland Browns and the Minnesota Vikings. On the Cleveland side, you love Nick Chubb. You love Kareem Hunt. Really good running back 1 and RB2 plays there. Both running backs are going to get a lot of run on this Vikings D. Baker, me hate Baker. Should be pretty decent. Then at wide receiver, you have Odell Beckham. You're going to start Odell since you drafted him, with probably one of your first 5 or 6 picks. So don't hate Odell here. Should be a fun matchup. Other than that, and Austin Hooper. You'll probably start Austin Hooper at tight end if you're streaming the tight end. He's a good streaming tight end candidate. Then for the Vikings, assuming Dalvin Cook plays, which I believe he will, love Dalvin Cook here. Love Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has been a great start all season. He's been throwing the ball really great. Thielen, Jefferson, automatic starts there. And then Tyler Conklin, a really great tight end play this week that I think could have a solid game as well. Next matchup, we have the Indianapolis Colts versus the Miami Dolphins. On the Colts side, what is there to like on this Colts side? 0-3 team, been playing very bad. I haven't been able to score. You're going to start Jonathan Taylor, but he has a brutal matchup here against Miami. Jonathan Taylor has not been very good for where he was drafted. Nyheim Hines, always a flex play. You never know. He's always going to be involved in the passing game. But that's really the only 2 I'm starting here. Staying away from anyone else on the Colts. On the Dolphins side, Myles Gaskin didn't really do too much last week. We'll see what he does this week. I still think Gaskin's a decent flex play at best. On the receiving end, love Mike Gesicki. He was very involved last week. Jalen Waddle and Will Fuller. I think you can roll them all out. Brissett, more than capable of getting them the ball, which he did last week. Very active and was able to move the ball around. So love all those as maybe flex plays. Not super excited, but I think they could be decent flex plays. Next matchup, we have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I think you can roll out everybody on the Chiefs here. This is going to be a good bounce back Chiefs game coming off 2 losses. Love Mahomes, love Tyreek Hill, love Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I love Travis Kelce. You should feel confident starting all of them this week. Then on the Eagles side, Jalen Hurts going to give you that rushing upside, so I like him as a nice streaming quarterback here. Miles Sanders, you're probably going to play him, but he's more of a flex running back. You're hoping he gets more involved this week because didn't really look good last week. Then Devontae Smith coming off a bad week last week. You're hoping this is the game here in a high-scoring game against the Chiefs where you can catch a deep ball and get more involved in the offense. And then at tight end, you're going to be streaming Ertz and Goddard, but just be aware, Ertz coming off that touchdown last week. that they could really hurt you or have a good game. So just be aware with those two tight ends there. Next matchup, we have the New York Giants versus the New Orleans Saints. On the Giants side, going to be, you're starting Saquon. Had a great week last week, so that's very encouraging for Saquon owners. Don't love Daniel Jones here. He does present good rushing upside, so I don't mind him as a streaming option. But, no Darius Slayton and Shepard. You're probably going to start Galladay as a wide receiver 3 or flex. And then Evan Ingram, I think, is going to be a great play today. Should get a lot of targets with all the receivers out. So I do like Evan Ingram here. Then on the Saints side, you're rolling out Kamara. And honestly, that's it. Can't trust anyone else in this offense. Maybe stream Jameis if you're interested, but Kamara's the only play here for the Saints. And then stream Saints defense. They should be able to get some sacks and some turnovers. All right, next matchup, we have the Detroit Lions versus the Chicago Bears. On the Detroit side, you're probably staying away from Jared Goff if you were streaming him. But I love DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. They're both getting tons of run here at running back. Both involved in the passing game and getting carries. So I love both those plays. Love TJ Hawkinson. He had a bad week last week, but I think it's a good bounce back for him this week. Then at wide receiver, not the best matchup, but Quintez Cephas all season long. He's going to get the targets. So I do like Cephas here, but I'm probably going to stay with Hawkinson and the running backs. Then on the Chicago side, what can you really like here? David Montgomery really had a disappointing week last week. The quarterback play was horrible. Allen Robinson just has been awful and definitely been hurting your team so far this season. I think Montgomery is the best one to start here. He's got a great matchup against this Detroit D, so you hope Montgomery has a better game here. Allen Robinson, me personally, I'm not starting Robinson unless you have a better option. I'd much rather stream somebody. Robinson just is not getting involved here. The offense is very bad. And, if you believe in Robinson, go for it. He has a great matchup here. Hopefully this could be a breakout game, but I personally don't have him in any of my leagues, but I couldn't afford to have him hurt me like he has been so far this season. I'm only starting DJ Montgomery here in this matchup. Next matchup, we have the Houston Texans versus the Buffalo Bills. On the Houston side, I think you can only really start Brandon Cooks. Maybe Mark Ingram at a flex if you really need a running back. He's going to get carries. But Brandon Cooks is the only one that's going to get actual targets in this offense. Then on Buffalo, you can start everybody. You can start Zach Moss. You can start, Josh Allen's going to have a great game here. Love all the pass catching options here with Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley, Diggs, and Dawson Knox as a streaming tight end. I think they all have great weeks. And I love the Buffalo defense. All right, next matchup, we have the Tennessee Titans versus the New York Jets. For the Titans side, missing Julio and A.J. Brown. I think I think you should only start Derrick Henry in this matchup. Derrick Henry's going to get fed the ball the most. He's going to be able to run up and down this Jets defense here. Derrick Henry should be in line for a monster day here. I don't hate Tannehill as a streaming option, but without his two pass weapons, I think it's going to be tough for him to really, produce. The only person that maybe you can stream is Westbrook. He's that receiver that scored last week, had a decent game. I don't mind him as a flex play here, but I think Derrick Henry's the only safe option on the Titans here. And then on the Jets, to be honest, I'm staying away from everybody on the Jets. They have no upside. They scored 0 points last week, then 3 points the week before, or 6 points. How are you going to get any kind of production? There's no touchdown upside on anyone on the Jets. Even Corey Davis just has no upside here. Stay away from any Jets players. You just can't do it. Next matchup, we have the Washington football team versus the Atlanta Falcons. On the Washington side, we'll see if Antonio Gibson plays. He was questionable, and I didn't practice a lot this week. We'll see if he's good to go. If not, go ahead and roll out J.D. McKissick. He will be a great play. Love Terry McLaurin and love Logan Thomas. They should be able to get catches and run up and down this this bad Atlanta defense here. So love the Washington pass skill players here. And I love the Washington D. They're going to be able to create pressure and get sacks on Matt Ryan. Then for the Falcons, I think you can roll out Cordell Patterson, Mike Davis, Calvin Ridley, and Kyle Pitts. They just haven't been that amazing so far because Atlanta, they've struggled to score this season. So their upside is very limited, honestly. But you're hoping for the best, and you hope that they can step it up here and get some points on this Washington team. The next matchup, we got a tough one between the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Rams. On the Arizona side, you're starting Kyler. You know, they have a brutal matchup here, but 2-3-0 teams, I mean, talent will take over in this matchup. You're starting Kyler Murray. You're starting D-Hop. You might have Jalen Ramsey on him, so be careful of that. I think you can start Christian Kirk here, and Chase Edmonds should be involved. They're probably not going to be able to run the ball too well, but he should be able to get some catches to give him some good value. I do like Christian Kirk. And then I like A.J. Green as a flex option. Look, A.J. Green's been doing pretty solid so far this season. No reason you can't roll him out here. Maybe with all the attention on D-Hop, could open up some more looks for Kirk and Green. And Max Williams as a flex tight end option. He's been actually pretty decent this season, so I don't hate that. Then for the Rams, if Darrell Henderson Jr. plays, which looks like he will be good to go, I do like him. He should be able to get some solid work on the ground against this Cardinals defense. Love Matt Stafford. You know, you're starting Cooper Kupp. He's been unbelievable this season. Robert Woods, you're playing him. You're hoping for a better game. He's kind of been just kind of average so far this season. And then Tyler Higbee. Love Tyler Higbee here. Really great tight end stream. And, maybe take a shot on Deshaun Jackson or Van Jefferson. But that's probably all I'm going to stay with in this matchup. Our next matchup, we have the Seattle Seahawks versus the San Francisco 49ers. On the Seahawks side, you're starting Russell Wilson. You're hoping he has a better game here today. Love DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett if he plays. I feel like he should, but he did get hurt last game, so be sure to check his status. Love Will Dissly with Gerald Everett being out. Will Dissly should get some targets here. And Chris Carson, tough defense, but he's getting the volume and work. I mean, you kind of have to start them. Then for the Niners, really don't know who to start at running back. So many running back questions. I think Kyle Juszczyk could be an interesting flex play here. He was getting a lot of running back work last week and scored. George Kittle is questionable for this game. Be sure to check his status. Obviously, you're playing George Kittle if he plays. And then Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, I think they're great plays here against the Seattle defense. And that's probably the main plays I like here is the receiving core for the Niners. Next matchup, we have the Baltimore Ravens versus the Denver Broncos. For Baltimore, you're starting Lamar Jackson, starting Hollywood Brown, and honestly at running back, I think it's tough. I mean, Travion Williams, very bad week last week, did not do good. Hard to trust him. Love Mark Andrews, love Hollywood Brown. I think those are the only two real starts you can play here, and Lamar. We'll see about running back. It's just been too many people playing, too much of a timeshare. I just don't like it. Then on the Denver side, love Teddy Bridgewater. He's been really solid all season. I think he's a good streaming quarterback still. Love Melvin Gordon. Tough matchup here, but Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams, they've been a nice 1-2 punch, so they both have good flex value here. Cortland Sutton, you're playing him, and Fant. You hope they have better games here. And then Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick's had been really good since all the wide receiver injuries. Love those plays here. Next matchup, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers. On the Steelers side, be sure to check Deontay Johnson and Juju's status. I feel like they're trending towards playing, but be sure they were both injured last week. Definitely rolling them out, and Claypool if they all play. I do like Pat Freiermuth at tight end for the Steelers, finally getting more involved in the offense. And, you're starting Najee Harris coming off a monster target week last week. You hope the offense plays better because the Steelers have not looked good. And on the Packers side, you're rolling out Aaron Rodgers, Devontae, Aaron Jones, and then Robert Tonyan. You hope Tonyan has a better game. He's kind of had a rough season so far, but, no MVS, so I think it's going to be more looks for Devontae Adams and maybe Tonyan and Aaron Jones. Next matchup, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New England Patriots. Tom Brady. He's going to beat the all-time record passing here. He's gonna ball out. Love Tom Brady. I mean, he's been one of the top quarterbacks this season. Running backs, I mean, you're probably gonna if you've been playing Fournette, go ahead and play Fournette. I don't love it. I think there's way better options out there, but without Gio Bernard, Fournette could get more involved in the passing game. So I don't hate Fournette as a flex running back play, but no Gronk this week. Maybe it's a Cameron Braid or O.J. Howard week. I don't know. Very sketchy still. I think you're going to stick with Antonio Brown, Godwin, and Mike Evans. They should be able to have great games in this matchup. And then for the Patriots, man, I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, Damian Harris is going to... You feel like you're going to play Damian Harris, but it's going to be a brutal matchup. He doesn't get any catches. I think it's going to be tough, and I really don't think he can start anybody for the Patriots here. I mean, I really don't. It's going to be a brutal matchup. The offense hasn't looked good. They lost James White. James White was the only really playable flex play on this team, and they lost him. The tight ends haven't done much. I'm staying away from everybody for the Patriots, to be honest. And, that's going to be it for the video. Good luck with your picks. Good luck with your matchups on Sunday. Hope you guys do get a win. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.